The fastest way to lose a valuable customer, a colleague's respect, or a profitable sale is to act like they should already know what you know. Today's lesson is simple. Humble yourself, talk about your own mistakes first, and ask better questions instead of giving orders. Hello, I'm Frankie, founder of Auto Dojo, the path to excellence, and welcome to today's Auto Dojo Quick Hit. 5 minutes, 1 skill, 0 excuses. Let's go. Dale Carnegie gives us 2 more principles that can change the way you sell, influence, and lead. Talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person, and ask questions instead of giving direct orders. That first one matters because so often we judge people by knowledge they simply haven't had the chance to gain yet. When we're older, we've learned things from books, mentors, experience, and yes, our own mistakes. But others may not have had those same lessons yet. So before you criticize somebody, ask yourself, is there any reason they should know what I know? Most of the time, the answer is no. That's especially true with younger buyers or first-time buyers who don't understand how credit works or feel overwhelmed about the process or the product, or your colleagues who are still learning their sales process. If we come in acting like they should already know leases, credit, paperwork, product knowledge, or how the whole dealership machine works, we're not teaching, we're judging. And when people feel judged, they shut down. Carnegie understood this. He talked about the value of being humble enough to mention our own mistakes first. He even gave the example of his secretary's misspellings. Instead of bluntly correcting her, he'd say something like, that word doesn't look right to me. It's one I've always had trouble with myself. That's why I became so careful about spelling. That's a completely different energy than just saying, you're wrong. It keeps dignity intact. It makes the other person feel safe instead of small. That same idea works everywhere in the dealership. If you're working with a first-time buyer who's confused, don't act annoyed. Say, in a way that's comfortable for you, that you remember what it was like when you bought your first car. If you had challenges back then, share them. That makes you relatable and it shows empathy. It reminds the customer that they're not the only one who's ever felt lost, nervous, or uncertain in the process. And if you're a manager coaching your team, remember what it was like when you were new. Remember the mistakes you made, the things you didn't understand, and the pressure you felt to perform. Don't coach from a pedestal, coach from your memory. When your team feels like you understand where they're coming from, they're a lot more willing to hear you. How do you find this out? Ask questions instead of just giving direct orders. This is where the Socratic method mentioned in a previous episode comes in and is one of the most powerful tools in sales and leadership. Socrates was the ancient Greek philosopher who became famous for asking questions that helped people think more deeply and come to their own conclusions. That's exactly what we want in the dealership. We don't want to shove ideas down people's throats. We want to guide them to the right answer through curiosity. That's why in sales, ABC isn't always be closing, it's always be curious. In coaching, this is also called appreciative inquiry. You ask questions that help people see the situation clearly, think for themselves, and feel part of the solution. With a customer, that might sound like asking what's keeping them from moving forward, what part of the process feels unclear, or what would make the experience easier for them. You're not interrogating them, you're helping them think. Then once you understand what matters, you can make a suggestion that actually fits. As a manager with a member of your sales team, it works the same way. Instead of just saying, do this, ask, what's getting in your way? What do you need from me? What would help reduce the back and forth? How do you think we can make this smoother? Those kinds of questions do 2 things. It gives them skin in the game and it makes them feel like part of the plan instead of just being told what to do. And when people feel respected, they're more willing to listen. When they feel heard, they're more willing to change. And when they feel like you're interested in their success, not just your own, they're far more likely to open up and ask for the help that they truly need. And that's the real lesson here, isn't it? Be humble about your own mistakes and be curious enough to ask the right questions. That combination makes people feel safe, valued, and important. And when they feel that way, they're much easier to influence, coach, and sell to. So go do it now. For your next 3 customer or sales team conversations, do these 3 things. First, mention one mistake you've made when it makes sense in the conversation. Second, replace one direct order with a question instead. Third, ask one curious, open-ended question that helps the other person think through the answer themselves. Why is this important? Well, because people are much more open to guidance when they don't feel judged. When you admit your own imperfections, you make the other person feel safe. When you ask questions instead of just giving orders, you make them feel included. That builds trust, lowers resistance, and helps the sale or the relationship move forward with less friction and more respect. So go take action, keep the customer first, and go dominate your floor. To receive these directly into your inbox every week, scan the QR code you see here, and I look forward to serving you in the Auto Dojo soon.